Peace, HHDG. We are on another episode of HHDG Media, the podcast. And as always, big shout out to everyone that continuously is tuning in through our YouTube channel, as well as our Facebook group, HHDG, which stands for Hip Hop Discussion Group. As you can see on the bottom banner, you can always go to our website, hhdgmedia.com. Go check out music, some of our written interviews, check out our merchandise, and also our upcoming events. And as always, this is made possible through our company, HHDG Media Inc., which consists of our 5 owners: Skelly Top, Rock Vader KB, T. Smith, the Mayor, and myself, Wiki. For tonight, we have a multi-talented artist who continues to show growth in each and every talent that she puts forth her mindset and determination to. And it's amazing the inspiration you can get from seeing someone do this and display it. And hopefully one day I get to see them perform in person, not just MCing, but also the production, the painting, and maybe even some ill photography as well. This artist just recently dropped their debut beat tape called Sanctuary on November 11th. Now I'm going to say that again, their debut beat tape. This artist was not known coming up for production. This artist was known for destroying mics, getting busy in Detroit at the battles, and working with some well-known, talented Detroit artists. And one of them is still one of my favorite verses from them is Friction off of Book Brown and Apollo Brown's Brown Study project. And we'll definitely, play her verse later on. Let y'all hear that if you're not familiar. But continuously throughout her career, she's continued to make her name known. And that's alone in the city of Detroit, where it's heavy competition. So that says a lot for any artist that can continuously do those things. And aside from just the music, also an owner, Golden Girl Production, and also part of Triple Peaks Clothing. So again, multi-talented, and it's just amazing to see an individual do so much and inspire others. And I'm sure we'll find out in this interview who some of those people are. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce, for the first time on HHDG Media, Miz Korona.
What up, though? That
How
was a
you
beautiful
doing?
introduction. I'm
Thank you.
lovely. Honestly, I'm hanging in there. Just I'm taking it easy. As you know, Wiki, I was in the hospital for a couple days right before Thanksgiving, so I'm taking
Right.
it easy. And we scheduled this beforehand, so I had to make an assessment with myself to see if I was up to it. And I'm like, yeah, we've been talking about it for a while, so this is an
Right.
easy lift to sit here and do this interview. I'm blessed to still be here, in all honesty. So thank you for having me.
And that alone, says a lot, because, we're not promised tomorrow. And I know with everything going on with you and your family, again, my condolences to your mother.
Thank
You know, you definitely, again, I said it before we went on, you showed a strong bond with her. And what I like is you gave all types of emotions with your mother.
you. Oh
And
yeah.
I love seeing some of the bloopers, but then you also got very serious at the same time. So,
Yeah.
to show that to the world, that means a lot. And
Thank you. Yeah, my mom. I mean, my mother. A lot of people may feel strong. I hope that people feel strong connections and bonds with their mother. But my mom was my mother first, but she was my friend, my best friend.
Mm.
And I knew I knew when to play with her, and I knew when not. Even as an adult, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
I knew when I had to stop joking, So I never crossed those lines, and unfortunately, she transitioned in June. It was devastating. I'm grief is heavy, and that's a part of the reason why I was just stress levels drove my blood pressure up sky
right.
high, amongst other things. But God blessed me with being here again another day, and so I have to continue to push on and just really make sure that I'm taking self inventory and paying attention to my body and taking the rest that I need, and um, but I'm honored that I was able to share my mom with the world, and a lot of people didn't get a chance to meet her personally, but developed the relationship. They had their own relationship through social media, and
Mhm.
and then the folks that did have the opportunity to know her in person, she was like a second mom to half of the community of artists here. So
That's great.
it was an honor to be her daughter,
Yeah,
and amazingly beautiful woman inside and out. So yeah,
and like I was saying, the two of you look like you could be sisters.
yeah. That's because she was so youthful, but and speaking of the bloopers, I just wrapped up a documentary film, that I was already in the process of creating for the project that I released on my birthday, 9/11, the I Forgive Me project. I was in the process of shooting a documentary surrounding that. My boy Sterling Toles, who's the producer of the film, he's also an amazing producer musically. Also, he produced one of Bodie James's critically acclaimed albums, and so unfortunately, my mother passed when I was in the process of promoting that and filming. It was intentionally going to be just a short film to promote that I Forgive Me project, and then he said, maybe we should, you know, go a little deeper and make it a documentary because
Okay. Yeah.
that project, I Forgive Me was about um, accountability, self accountability, and just the title speaks for itself. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
um, and so on the journey of forgiveness, it's all about healing, and so talking about that and then wrapping that on that project, and then having to figure out how to navigate this grief and this tremendous loss. It has made sense to kind of document a lot of that, because it's a lot of people who I had no idea that I was friends with that would come to me afterwards and like, I hate that you had to join this community. And I was just like, damn, you know what I mean? Like it is wild. It's wild that and everybody has to leave this earth at some point, but it's wild how many friends that I didn't know had lost their mom or dad. And
Right. Hmm.
unfortunately, I lost both of my parents, both of my biological parents. My stepdad is an amazing guy. He raised me most of my life, but it's just different when both of the people who brought you into the world are no longer in this realm. And so just navigating that. So I'm going to be releasing that documentary soon, so you'll see more bloopers and videos and things of that nature, photos, of course, and yeah, yeah,
That's beautiful.
yeah. And I've been working on a project too, which was actually her birthday, September 14th, and mine's is September 11th. So it just goes to show how close we were. But the intention was to put out the project that I created for her on her birthday, but a lot of things, prevented that from happening, which turned out to be blessings in disguise. Um, and so the documentary came into place and all those things. So it's like, okay, when you, it was almost as if I was not purposefully rushing to create the project to fill the void of her not being here, but it was just like I want to honor my mom, like right
Yeah.
now in this moment. You know what I mean? I had a sense of urgency, and it was pretty much, if I can put it into words, it was pretty much how I felt when I created the virus project. During at the height of the pandemic, when a lot of people were passing away, and I was just like, is the world coming to an end? And I had a sense of urgency of, if this is the last days, what's going to happen? But witnessing my mother pass away, it was just like time became a thing for me. Like, you know time is running out. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of felt like I needed to put it out. But then those obstacles really had me sit back and reflect on it. Like, no, the I Forgive Me project needed its own time and space.
Mm-hmm.
And the project that I create for her and release, in honor of her, needs its own time and space as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yep. And they say healing is something it'll last a lifetime. It's just all in how you progress with it.
Mm-hmm.
So my father, his parents passed away in 2013.
Mm.
Within about 4.5 to 5 months of each other,
Hmm.
and I've seen the change that affected in him, and he's still here pushing though. So
Yeah. Oh,
you
I
still got
definitely changed. I changed a
yeah
lot. It felt like when you're a teenager and and one night, you 13 years old, you lay down, go to sleep, you wake up and you like 3 inches taller overnight. You know what I mean? And it's like you got to catch up with your body.
yeah
So that's what it feels like to me. It feels like when you see videos of the animals in the jungle um, giving birth, and then the babies trying to get their footing underneath them. That's just how I feel. I just feel like, although I feel on the surface I'm navigating it, in the eye of the other people pretty well, and I'm handling it in a way that I didn't expect if it ever had to come to this. You know what I mean?
right
Because my mom had heart problems, so it was always like, you know, what if? But it's like, okay, we're here now, and I never would have thought, like, okay, I'm really like holding it together a lot better than I thought I ever would. Um, but it just is it's still I'm still fumbling and wobbling around, like I don't know what to do.
yeah
You
it's,
know,
it's understandable.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah. But her spirit is with me, and she was a very powerful, resourceful woman, and I have that tenacity, that same tenacity that she has. So, you know, I know I'm gonna be okay because I got her DNA all in me. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And but it's just gonna take some time. But I'm a completely different person. So anybody who knew me before that, and if they have not spoken to me since then, that is the friendship don't even that ain't even valid anymore because I ain't even that person. So if you don't know who I am right now in the midst of all of this healing from this grief, then it's no space for these people. I'm not even sorry. I was about to say I'm sorry, but I'm not. you know. Yeah.
Yep. And one of your companies, Trigger Finger Visuals,
Mm-hmm.
um, is that how the documentary is going to come out through your company?
No, it's not gonna come out through my company. Again, my boy Sterling is directing it. He has his own company. So it's a joint project.
Okay.
It's and we'll see. If somebody wants to invest or pick it up to put it out somewhere, we'll see how that goes. But at the present moment, it's a an indie film. I'll be doing some screenings when the project comes out. Prior to the project coming out, I'll be doing some private screenings for people to see it, and then when the project actually releases, it'll be a double vinyl. Since it was the intention was to drop I Forgive Me and the project in her honor is called Travel in Peace. We're supposed to be a few days apart. I'm gonna do double vinyl, and so it'll have um, a digital code where people can go and watch it on you know my YouTube. Probably be on there private
Nice.
or something like
Okay.
that. Yeah. Hmm.
Cool. Cool. So, what um, got you into picking up a camera?
Um, honestly, I've always loved photographs. I can't even tell you what drew me to it, but I can tell you the first time I requested a camera was for my 10th birthday, and back then it was the Polaroid cameras were the thing. And my mother was like, "Who's gonna pay for the film?" And I was just like, I'll do chores, like or with my allowance or whatever, like I pay for my own film, but I wanted a camera,
Hmm.
for Christmas at 10. And I mean, shoot, at 10 for my 10th birthday, she had got me a record player with vinyl. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
nice.
So then Christmas come around, I'm asking for an expensive gift, a Polaroid camera. But I just loved to capture moments. I can't even tell you, but I've been like the family photographer since since I was like 10, 11 years old. I always had a camera, taking photos or filming something if I had a video, like, big camcorder or whatever. Um, I just love to capture moments because, again, you never know. You know what I'm saying? You never
Yeah.
know. And I like to hold the memories. So it was exciting to me when social media, incorporated the memories thing on there. When you post things instead of them getting rid of it, it's like you can look back. Some of the stuff I'd be mad about, like, we ain't friends no more. Why you still showing me this? They blocked me. You should be you should be showing this. But for the most part, I just love to go back and look at it's. I guess it's a nostalgic feeling
Hmm.
of going back, and then you get those memories of, oh, I remember this day when I did this and that, and I was with such and such, and dang, I wonder how they doing it. This was my first time I had a battle or whatever, or this is the first time I met such and such, and I took a picture of them. So I have lots of photographs. I mean, I got boxes of photos over there, but I have lots of photographs around here. But I've always loved taking pictures,
Hmm.
and my friend Shaka Ray was actually the first person to push me to do it publicly and not just in my friend circle. And like, you should photograph other people, you should shoot videos. And I was like, I don't know. I think I'm one of those people who hyper focus on things because I want to be good at the things that I do.
Hmm.
And I felt like if I got too wrapped up with letting people know that I did photography, that it was going to take away from my artistry as an MC. And it came from the era when people would say, "Stay in your lane," or focus on this
Right.
one craft
Hmm.
and get great at that. And so for a long time, that stuck in the back of my mind with a lot of the things that I love to do, you know, for whatever reason. But because I would have been producing a long time ago had people not told me to stay in my lane, you know. So yeah,
I love it, and seeing the pictures that you've posted, and you explained it perfectly. You like to capture the moment, and great photographers, they have that eye for capturing the moments, like you were saying, when it comes to
hmm
other people, and also just it could be just cinema,
yeah,
mountains, the sky, anything like that.
yeah. I never felt, um, I started throwing myself more out there publicly and just doing photography for like picking up clientele that wasn't in the artist community. At the point, I can't remember what year. I think it was 2014. My boy Finale and I had just come off tour, and I was like struggling to get this project done that I was working on, and couldn't get any distribution, couldn't get producers to send me beats. So I really fell into a dark place, and I was like at this dead end job and shit, working at Whole Foods, and people was coming in there like, wasn't you the girl at 8 Mile, and what you doing working in here and all of that, and just like, and wasn't you just over in France, and why you working here? And so they kind of made me, it shamed me into a depression in a way.
Mhm.
And luckily I didn't sink deep, but my sister Nico was like, yo, just take your camera down to the water and just go talk to God and ask him what's next. And when I asked that question, as I was snapping the photos and I looked at the pictures, they were so breathtaking. I felt like that was my message. Like, tell your story through the lens right now.
Right, right.
And until you can figure out how to find the words to say. Because at that point in time, I was so frustrated with music, I was just like, I'm not going to do it no more. You know, and I remember getting a call from, like Guilty Simpson and Bahama D, all of them like hit me up like, man, you can't quit, because I put a post up like, I'm retiring and I'm happy with it. I'm just gonna focus on photography, and it was like, nah, you can't. You can't walk away, from this, and hip hop needs you. And I was really just like, yeah, no, I'm good. And then fast forward to 2020, I found inspiration through an unfortunate event when the pandemic happened. But from 2014 to 2020, I hadn't put out any projects. I was just focusing on photography, my fashion line. Um, I was doing features. I was still performing, but I wasn't like, I didn't even feel like I had anything to say that people wanted to hear.
Hmm.
So I started telling the story through the lens and through the videos that I was shooting. Just like, this is now my iris is my voice. So yeah,
That's a good slogan right there.
the iris is the voice. Yeah, I mean, because because a great photographer is a storyteller.
Yes. Hmm.
When you look at an image, and they say a picture is worth 1,000 words, and I always want, and maybe that is why it captivated me so much. Now that I think about it, a picture is worth 1,000 words, but the picture isn't saying anything. So I'm just like, how can you capture a picture that can speak volumes? And just like, when people look at it, it's like, I think about right now as we're talking about this, the famous Biggie Smalls picture with him sitting with the crowd, like, it spoke volumes.
Yeah.
Album cover. I pick a lot of albums that I sample from just based off of the album cover. Like, ooh, this album cover just, it looks amazing. I'm gonna hear what it sounds like. Because if the picture is translating what the sound is, then I know this album is fire. So that's why I go into when I create these projects, and my album covers have to speak volume. Like, it has to tell a story too. It has to make people want to say, well, what is this? Even if they never heard me before.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm.
Yeah. So I got the coldest graphic designer in the world to me, Mario Butterfield. And I'm like, yo, when he did the cover art for the Virus EP, we went through like 4 modifications. You know what I'm saying? Because I was like, no, that's not it. That's not it. Yeah.
So
I
I
was
need
like,
to see that.
yeah. I said you got to make it look like the world is coming to an end, and like I'm the last person standing. Because that project just made me, even though it made me come out of retirement, it almost made me retire my name because I felt like it was gonna trigger people because I had.
Right.
It was like
Mm.
at one point in time, it was like 27 people that I knew had passed from the coronavirus. So I was
Wow.
like, yo, I might need to change my name because I don't want to trigger people, you know, that just know me as Corona. And then I had people trolling me because they thought it was like I was being funny, And but my squad came to my defense, like, nah. So yeah.
That's good. That's good. Mm. Now, earlier you said if if others weren't inspiring you to do more photography, that you would have did production earlier. So
Yeah.
let's go back and tell us what made you want to get into production back then, and what were you using when you first started?
Well, the first time I ever made a beat, I was 15 years old, and I believe it was like some little rolling pad. It looked like a little calculator type of thing, and you turn it out. I can't remember what it was, but the producers never want. I mean, and rightfully so. Equipment was extremely way more expensive than it is now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's still expensive, but it was way more expensive than it is now. So the producer that I were dealing with, they didn't want me tinkering on their stuff. They didn't want to show me how to work a keyboard, and then back then you had to put the disc in the MPC and all of that stuff. It's delicate equipment. I get it. I get it now because I have a home studio and my stuff is just like, yeah, I don't want nobody just coming over here just coming and banging on stuff and they don't know what they're
Right.
doing.
Yeah.
Um, but also the individuals that I dealt with in my younger years, they were just haters, period. You know what I'm saying? And they wanted to hold me back from surpassing them.
Mm-hmm.
It was only 2 individuals that was in that camp, in that so called camp, that didn't try to hold me back, and and that was my boy Mau, who his name is Kamal. He was the first dude to ever take me to the studio when I was 13. Went over to my house, asked my mama. She took down his phone number, his home phone number. They didn't have cell phones back then, and he had a pager, and she got a beeper number and an ID, and all of that stuff. But she entrusted her baby girl to go to the studio with this older man. Well, he was, like I was like 13, he was like 18, but he never hated on me. You know what I'm saying? And then his rap partner Umar was my boy, and then later down the line, it was a singer from here, was really popular, named Rita Mosley, who came in the camp, and it was like that. Those were the ones who tried to. They saw the talent that I had at that young age and tried to hone it, but the other guys was like really, trying to hold me back. So and he didn't
Mm-hmm.
want me to. He didn't want me messing with his equipment, and just seeing and not to toot my own horn, but just seeing how quickly I advanced with production in a short amount of time, I could see why they wouldn't have wanted me to. I
Let them
already
know.
could. Yeah, I already was able to rap better than them, so they really didn't want me to get in there and be making beats better than them. So I mean, it's a male dominated field, even still to this day, with a lot of women, running the pack more than it was back in the day when I came in the game. But it's still they don't want women, look how many women producers are in the forefront right now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
Because
great.
they don't think we should be behind the boards. They don't think we have what it takes. I mean, and not everybody thinks like that, but it's a shock when you like, oh my God, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like, you made that? Who
mm,
helped you? I
all the
mean,
time,
people think that I had ghostwriters my whole career. I
all the
was
time.
like, I wish I had somebody to help me write some raps because I be over here stuck sometimes. I think too much.
Yeah,
I'm thinking too hard. The songs I'm writing ain't getting no platinum plaques like these whack songs. I'm thinking too hard over here. Somebody come write some stuff for me. you know. But yeah,
and
I would have produced a long time ago, and so that was the first time, and then the second time later down in the line, Marv One showed me how to work the MPC, the older one, and again, how much information can you hold when you only are able to touch this piece of equipment every so often,
right,
you know? So, fast forward to 2021, after the pandemic, we got let outside. I blew my knee out, had knee surgery, had to sit up for 6 months and recover. I was just like, I'm about to start making my own beats because I was tired I was trying to do the follow up to the virus and then waiting on beats, the same scenario over and over again from years before. And I was like, I'm not waiting no more. I'm about to teach myself how to make beats, and I won't need nobody to give me shit. you know?
that determination,
Yeah.
and wow, to learn it like that, there's not too many people, that are capable of that.
Yeah, I'm thankful and I'm honored. I'm blessed and I'm grateful. The first year and a half wiki, I thought it was a fluke. I thought it was a fluke. I was like, I made this. Like I was tripping. Really, the first 4 months, I was tripping. I was like, yo, am I tripping? I'm like, this shit sound fire to me. But I'm like, am I tripping? You know what I'm saying? Just because I was happy that I accomplished this thing that I
Yeah,
set out to do. But I was like, no, this is actually cold. So when I was sending it to people, they like, yo, this is scary. Like you made this. You was like who helped? I was like, ain't nobody helped me make these beats. And I know it wasn't a diss. It was just like, I can't believe you just started making beats 4 months ago. And then I listened to those and listen to what I make now. I'm like, I'm so much better than but I was, advanced. If like, I don't know.
early, yeah.
Probably like a savant or something. I might be, some
Hey,
kind
you might be. I mean,
of.
look at all these other talents you got, and
That's what
and
that's what a professor told me that I was like I never got diagnosed as one. I'm not gonna, but who knows?
and you were mentioning earlier how you get fully in depth
Yeah,
with whatever you start working on. So yeah, man, that right there is
yeah,
an ability that you cannot teach.
yeah. I
That
got
comes from within.
yeah because when I started teaching myself how to paint, that was in the middle of the pandemic, and I was like, I need to teach myself how to draw and paint. I'm still not as good as I want to be, and I wanted to do that because I got tired of asking people to do my graphics.
Hmm.
That's that, that's most of the reason why I began to do a lot of the things. I get tired of asking people to do things for me, and then they act funny. Like I got tired of asking my homies for show me love on clothes. you know what I'm saying? I'm going on tour. I need I'm about to drop some money. Can you show me love and throw me some stuff? And it's like, nah, I can't. And then I was like, you know what? Fuck it, I'm gonna make my own clothes.
Yeah.
Like everybody watch what I wear anyway. They always ask me what I'm wearing anyway, so I might as well start my own clothing line. So a lot of the things is that it comes from people doubting me and just being tired of waiting on folks to do things for me. Like yeah,
That's dope. That's dope, man.
you know.
The thing about that story is, it happens a lot. And also the other aspect of you being a woman and explaining this, how you get so much hate from almost everyone and still be able to persevere. And that person that is unbiased is always the person that sees the talent and,
Mm-hmm.
helps you to hone it. So,
Well, and that's very true. I mean, being, I mean, coming from Detroit, right, in the era that I came up in, you had very few women who were rapping and who were rapping at a high level side by side with the guys.
mhm,
I mean, it was very few of us, at least six. And you had all a multitude of guys, and then you have these six women. You know what I'm saying? And I could name them. I could name them all. And it's like, you got to go above and beyond. You got to be harder. You got to be doper than these guys, and then still not get really the recognition because the men can't. Well, for me, I can't speak for my other sisters. I can't speak for them. For me, they couldn't get nothing from me, especially when they found out. Oh man, she a lesbian. They really didn't really want to fuck with me because it was like they couldn't get nothing from me. They can't. They felt like, well, man, they didn't want to get on song with me,
mhm,
And I've had some of my homies be real with me, like, man, I can't let no girl out rap me on my song, like that's gonna make me look bad. And I just laugh, like, okay, whatever, you know what I'm saying? But whatever. So it was a lot of obstacles that could have prevented me from feeling like I belonged, you know. But if I didn't, honestly, I'll tell you something. I think it's the stubbornness that I have. Like, when you good at something and you just like you want to prove everybody.
uh-huh.
Like, yeah, I know I got something. Yeah, I'm gonna show
I'm
y'all.
gonna
It
show
was
'em, yep.
that. It was that, and the fact that I remember when I really started going to and sneaking to these open mics, shall I say. Sneaking into these open mics, but prior to that, I would be around the house, I'm writing, I'm rapping. So my mom's not really knowing what I'm doing, but she just hear me in the room just making all this noise, what she called it. Girl, what did you doing? What did you in there talking to yourself? Would you be quiet? So she finally came to a performance of mine, and I won this contest that I was in. It was like $500 at the time. It was like $500. I got a huge stereo and 4 hours of studio time someplace. But my mama was so proud of me. And from that moment on, she was like my number one fan, you know.
Beautiful.
And it was weird to me because my biological father was in the entertainment industry and was a part of a huge group in the 70s from Detroit. But
Wow.
he never saw me perform ever. You know what I mean? And I felt for a long time like, oh, I got my talent from him, but then I realized, no, I got my talent from God. And my mother helped me polish it by supporting me and pushing me. And, you know, I want to go to this open mic knowing I'm underage. Who you going with? Okay. And knowing it's somebody that she trusts. Okay. Y'all better bring my baby home. They gonna let you in
Mhm.
there. Do I need to go with you? And yeah, so it was like, how do you have, and I never told people who my dad was until he passed. Like, yeah, I didn't know your daddy was in the floaters. Yeah, he was. But he ain't had shit to do with nothing
What are you
pertaining to me.
doing?
So I'm not,
Mhm.
I mean, I mentioned him in like my bio and everything, but my mother introduced me to hip hop. My mother took, you know what I mean? Like, she signed me up for these battles when I was too young. She let me go to the open mic nights, and she supported me and was in the front row. And then when she married my stepdad, it's the both of them. So that was the type of driving force that I had, you know. So whatever obstacles people threw at me out in the world to try to prevent me and block me from any further success, from when I had to roll an 8 mile and people was hating after that, I had the support system that really let me know, like, okay, don't quit, but do you think you should change your image because this label is interested in you and they saying if you change your image you can get a deal? And I was telling my parents, like, that ain't how it works. Like, then I have to look at myself every day and have to be okay with me changing who I really am, you know.
Yep.
So yeah.
Cool. In 2010 you released Dope Music with Chains.
Yeah.
One of my favorite tracks off there is The Itch.
Okay.
Because I feel at when this came out, that's the type of track that Miz Korona is gonna, let you know how it is. And this is not just a bar heavy 2-minute plus track, but it also, gives that energy of I'm not here for the for the BS.
Yeah. That's wild because for two reasons. Well, really one reason. A lot of people not up on that project.
Really?
A lot of people slept on that project. And I'm not sure if it's because it came out a few months before I dropped The Injection or what. I really don't know. But a lot of people slept on that project. So when I hear folks talk about that project in general, it just give me a warm feeling because Chains and I, we met in a weird way at a time when the production team that I was with had parted ways and I had to leave all my music behind. So I was like, I met this kid and he was fresh out of high school and we worked on Dope Music and The Virus The Injection simultaneously. So for it to sound so, and the point of that Dope Music project was for me to pay homage to the era of hip hop that really inspired me to do it. So, it's super heavy boom bap, older sample, and people slept on that, but I was like, man, the product is so cold. Y'all didn't hear that? And they're like, no, I got to go back and listen to it. I'm like, you missed it. But, yeah. So when I hear people talk about it, it makes me feel warm inside because I feel like that was an amazing project, Yeah.
Definitely is. Man.
Thank you.
You know what? Since we're talking about it, let's play that track.
Okay. Let's go.
Let me get it up real quick.
I just started back performing this, by the way.
All right, here it is, The Itch by Miz Korona.
It's a problem. Yeah. The girl is back. No denying, I spit 16s like iron. You better run for cover when that 300 flying. Up the street, I pack heat like Wade. Come back, shoot, leave one in your face. Away I go in the game, I'm a pro. I don't ride no bitch, I get that dough. Rate me, they say she ill with the verses. Not her, I mean me. I'm rhyming third person. No rehearsing, I get to the point. You cockroaches get blazed like a joint. And now I'm smoking your girl on fire. Bow to the queen like you about to pick a five up. Pick your live as fire, go get them. Put them in a lineup, watch me sick them. I give it to Cruz, you iller than who? You similar to the shit on the tip of my shoe. Boo boo, go boo hoo to your whole city. I'm the dopest on the mic, don't believe tough titty. Yeah, the monster's here. I'm about to have a monstrous year. You hoes sign real preposterous. Yeah, I said it. You sound pathetic. Your style and gimmick. You can spit 1,000 verses a mile a minute, and you still couldn't fade me. Bitches, you crazy. I'm a little light mixed with a little Jay-Z, so that makes me hard as a rock. Get it? Jay-Z, life hard as a rock. You hoes should stop before I really get to spitting on some Mobb Deep shit. Or Nas, it was written. So many fake rappers about to get killed. I'm bringing back the real Rod Digger, Lauryn Hill. Niggas for real still heading to the front. You might win some, but you just lost one. You might win some, but you just lost one. You might win some, but you just lost one. No.
Yeah. That's how you do it. Yeah.
Now, if you did not hear The Itch, that might be your first time, go listen to that album, Dope Music.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like if people who are watching this right now are not familiar with who I am, they should just start from the first project. Go on to Bandcamp and listen to everything from the top to right now, and listen to the growth. Listen to how I evolve, just not as an artist or an MC, but as an artist, a full blown artist, and as a person too, because it's not easy talking about personable things, but nowadays I'm more comfortable with doing that. So yeah. So yeah, I would advise or suggest people to just start from that point of Dope Music and then go all the way to Sanctuary. But it's joints that's, like I said, I had to leave a lot of songs behind when I parted ways with the production team that I was with, and that's still my family. But it just didn't work out professionally. But unfortunately, I had to leave behind like 30 records.
Wow.
And I've been thinking of I've gotten them back now, and I've been thinking about just at some point in time throwing out a project of unreleased material. This because why I don't. I'm in the space of not hoarding music and things that are my creative babies, so to speak. Yeah. I just want to throw them out there, Yeah.
Now, earlier in the interview, you mentioned during the pandemic, you considered changing your name. So I have a 2-part question for you.
Mm-hmm.
One, what were some of the names that you considered?
I didn't have any. That was the problem.
Oh, okay. All right.
I was just like, I'm just not gonna. I just didn't think that because of the negative tone that was coming from just the coronavirus and just what people thought and felt about it. I mean, it ravaged through a lot of communities and took away a lot of people, but then it was like, now they don't call it the coronavirus, so it's like COVID. So it feels like now people forgot, because I was like, you know what, because I fought for my identity and I reclaimed. So I'll be having this theory in my head, like the universe was for me and I reclaimed my identity and I got so they don't even call it the coronavirus no more. So when I tell people my name, they ask me, I'm like, Corona. They don't even say like the virus, because for a long time they would say like the virus, but they like the beer, and I'm like, no, but if that's how you remember me. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, for about 2.5, 3 years, people like the virus. I'm like, they were like, oh God. I remember one time I was on around the time when they were doing verses on Instagram, and Battle Cat was he went live and doing something, and I'm in his live, and he was like, "Oh, Corona," like, he tried to clown me and shit, you know what I'm saying, for my and one of the homies, I think it might have been 14 KT or somebody, maybe Quay, like somebody was like, "Nah, Miz Korona, legend," so it was just like you need to get up
to
on her,
record
like,
straight.
yeah, but I was just like, damn, bro, like he tried to clown me, but I was like, I mean, hey, I was like, yeah, do your Googles, sir, but it's okay, it's okay, yeah.
So my next question is, how did you get the name Miz Korona?
Ooh, so I went by something totally different that I would not mention. I won't say my old. I won't say my old name, my original name. But Corona came about because I was freestyling with this dude who worked in the cooler. He worked in the cooler at the liquor store, and I just used to run down on cats all the time. Like, I heard you was the best. That's how I met the dude Kamal who took me to the studio. It was like, I heard you was the best rapper in the neighborhood. You can't rap better than me. That that type stuff. So I ran down. I'm like, yeah. I went to the. I remember going to the counter and asking specifically for his name's Crane Novocaine. I said, "Is Crane Novocaine here?" He's like, "Yeah, he's in the back. He's in the back." It was like, he called him. I was like, "Yeah, I heard you rap. Like, they say you the best freestyler. You can't rap better than me." He took me back there, so he got to pointing at things, and I think around that time, that was the same time when Big Proof, may he rest in peace, was mentoring me,
Yes, indeed.
and he used to harass me about my name, and he was like, "Yeah, you need to change your name. Like, we don't let gangster rappers, like, we don't get on the mic." And I was like, shut the fuck, like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like 14 at the time, but Proof was one of the ones who used to vouch for me to get into a lot of the open mics that he would host here, because he had saw me perform and was just like, "Yo, this little girl, so it's like, she cold," like, and so he harassed me for a good year and a half, and I finally changed my name. So when I said the line, and that's one of the only lines I remember from a freestyle, because it's a part of my identity now, but I said, "My rhymes intoxicate minds like Coronas," and then the Corona just kept popping up in my head, and I was like, why do I keep thinking of this Corona beer? Because when he pointed to it, I was like, why? And so I looked up what Corona meant, and I was like, oh, that's how I want to be perceived, because Corona is the outer ring of the sun. It is also a leafy crown. It means royalty. So I was like, that's how I want to be perceived. Like, so I'll tell y'all, my old rap name was Pimpette, which is terrible. And thank God I changed it, because Proof was like, "Man, that name is only going to take you so far." And I was just like, "Well, what is a proof?" And he was like, "I'm Proof." And I was like, "Motherfucker, I'm Pimpette," And I just was so combative. And but he was right. He was right. He was right about a lot of things throughout the mentorship that I had with my brother. And so Corona came about, but then I used to be the only girl at a lot of the hip hop spots. So then they would say Miz, like, out of respect. It was the era where they were Queen and Miz, and so they're like Miz, and it just became Miz Korona, and I was just like, okay, I guess I'm Miz Korona. So yeah, there it is. There it is. But the idea of changing my name, I couldn't even use any of my real names if I wanted to, because they already been taken. So I couldn't even use it. So I don't know what I would go by. I don't know. I can't go by Smiley. That's my last name. It was a very popular rapper in the early 90s from here named Smiley. My middle name is Antoinette. You got Antoinette. She was already out. My first name is Paula. You had Paula Perry. I can't use that. So it's like I had to have an alias. I can't use any of those names.
Right.
But it was also a sign to me that I was destined to be a rapper because, how many people do you know with their first, middle, and last name is a woman that raps? It was just destined for me. I guess.
Right there, yep.
Yeah. It was like, I could do this too. Yeah.
Nice. Continuing, with the past, what got you into rhyming?
Well, again, my mom got me that record player at 10, and the 2 pieces of vinyl that she brought in was Run DMC, JJ Fad. I was just intrigued by the way that I always liked writing, and I had a teacher, a social studies teacher, in 3rd grade, and she would have us write short stories about our winter vacations and summer vacations and holiday, whatever. And so I started trying to turn those into raps, or trying to freestyle on the bus. And hearing those instrumentals, I'm just like, I'm gonna rap over these. Like I said, my mom was like, "Girl, what you be quiet?" Until she really heard me and was like, "My baby can rap." Like I was wondering what she would be doing in that room, playing them records to death. And so, honestly, it was me seeing artists like MC Light and Queen Latifah on video. I think it was MTV at the time. Like when I saw their videos and they were in the same pool as the guys doing it, and that was like the first representation that I saw. I was like, oh, I can do this. Like I can do this. And so it just made me want to do it even more. And so I just would write all day and, practice. I don't write as much as I used to, because we got things to do as adults. As a child, you do your homework, you can go and do all the extracurricular activities that you feel like you need to do. But yeah, so that was what made me get into it. But I wanted to sing when I was younger. I wanted to sing like my dad. He tried to train me to be a singer. And then by the time I turned 9, 10, my voice started changing. But at that same time, I fell in love with this new sound that I'm hearing with these. I'm like, what is this? Okay, so I'm mimicking that now. I'm not mimicking the singers that I'm, but I still say I have the soul of a crooner. I be wanting to sing. I feel like I have a decent tone. I've sang on more recent projects, as you may have heard, but I'm not an amazing vocalist yet.
With that determination, that'll change in no time.
Yet, yeah. So I'm gonna get me some singing, some vocal lessons, and some piano lessons. And be a different version of Alicia Keys. I'll have a little more key. I love you, Alicia. She ain't watching this, but I love you. Yeah.
I love it. Before we get into the debut beat tape, The Sanctuary, it dropped on the 11th.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to go back a few days before that. On November 8th, your niece dropped Mantra mixtape, which because of you, I went and listened to it. And I gotta say, another multi-talented in the family.
Yeah, my niece Bird. She's an amazing writer, MC. She's really been finding her voice as an MC, and getting more comfortable with her voice, shall I say. This is her second project. you know, she's an amazing mom, super creative, you know, amazing with the makeup and fashion, hair, everything. Multi talented, yeah. You know,
Yeah, did
and
some digging and check.
yeah, I got I mean, I have a nephew that raps, and he started the Triple P's clothing line. Knows how to sew. We just have we really do have a family with um an extensive amount of talent. Like we should really be we should be the Detroit version of the Kardashians, but more civilized. You know,
Very nice.
less drama.
Let's try.
Yeah, less drama.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, yeah, but Bert, that I'm super proud of her. She actually is going to be coming here to do a concert in a few days. So yeah, thank you for mentioning that. Thank you for mentioning
Definitely.
that. I'm glad you
And
listened to it.
yeah, I did. And two of my favorite tracks is second track 2, The Life, and then the last track, Level Up.
Okay. Wait till I tell her this. I wonder if she's watching. I did put the link up. I hope that she's watching. Yeah, Bird. Yes, she's amazing. I love her. And what's funny is, and what's also amazing is that she really surprised me with the music thing. Just out of the blue, like, Auntie, I'm working on, like, when she dropped the first mixtape, Auntie, I'm working on my mixtape. I need you to hear it. Give me your opinion. Tell me what you think. And I was just like, wow. Same thing with my nephew. I was just like, I mean, if I had the money and to create a label, I would have enough artists that's in my family. You know, it's just it's insane. But yeah,
It is.
yeah. So shout out to Bird. We're doing a project. We're going to work on a project also. I'm be producing an EP for her next year. So people will hear about that. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Definitely look forward to that. And quick question: I didn't look at all the production credits on her EP. I mean, on mixtape. But did she produce every track?
No, she didn't produce. She doesn't produce.
Oh, okay.
She doesn't produce yet. She doesn't produce yet, but she is going to. If it's one of the last things I do, I want to teach her how to make beats. You know, yeah. And she may, you know, let me say this. I don't want to say she doesn't produce because she does go. It's a difference. Okay, let me get this right because it's you have beat makers and you have producers and you have song arrangers. So I'm pretty sure she may have had a lot of hand in the production aspect because she gonna tell the producer, this is what I'm hearing, this is what I want to hear, but the technical side of things she has yet to come into play with. So once she gets a piece of equipment in front of her and learns how it works in and out, then she gonna be out of here. But she can sit and tell you, I want you to play this. This is the melody that I'm hearing. So yes, she is a producer. So I'll take that back.
All right. Yep, it's definitely in the family.
Yeah.
So again, November 11th, debut beat tape, Sanctuary, was released. Before I ask you a question, I just want to say you displayed a variety of sounds, cinema, all on this project. And this production could be used in many genres, not just hip hop, from what my ears were blessed with. So my first question is, where did the inspiration come from to create it in such a diverse way? And then the meaning of the title with that, the picture as well.
Well, I'm gonna say this and be extremely transparent. When I began creating the project, I didn't really know what direction I wanted it to go into. But just like when I go into anything, it's about feeling. It's about feeling for me. So all I could think about was the title, Sanctuary. Sanctuary is what I call my home. My home is my sanctuary. So whenever people come to visit me, I always say, "Welcome to the sanctuary." And not everybody is welcome in the sanctuary. The spirit won't let people with negative energies even walk through the threshold. Because I done prayed and blessed my house, and Jesus is like, yeah, no, this person. I mean, I have homies that I love dearly. Like, yeah, I'm coming over. I'm coming up. Family members, and they never seem to make it because whatever might be going on in their life.
Mm-hmm.
But so when I began to build the project, in the midst of all the grief, I was trying to find my own personal sanctuary within. So it's like, how do I want to shape this project where when people listen to it, it feels safe, it feels warm, it feels like home, it feels familiar, it feels like healing, it feels like a warm hug, but also it's exciting, it's not sad, it's not heavy, it's not, grief stricken, but it can resemble what I'm going through in a way, and showing that I'm persevering and pushing through it. So a bulk of those tracks were made as I was creating, and a few of them I already had. And so I was just like, this feels great. This matches the sound that I'm going with. So I'm gonna put this in here. But ultimately, the decision for me to put out the beat tape was because I feel that people have been overlooking me as a producer. Because, again, I started making beats in 2021 and reaching out to folks like, yeah, come through, grab some beats. But again, not every spirit and every person's body and energy is allowed to walk through this threshold because this house is anointed,
Right.
And as am I. So, and I don't let everybody come into my home either. So it's like, if I've invited somebody over, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna come get. I don't send out beat packs for real, because I don't like sending people the same beats. I've been there where somebody had sent me a beat pack and I done got married to this beat. I done wrote a song and then they like, yeah, oh man, I gave it to such and such, and this I gave it to Sky Zoo, and Sky Zoo has a bigger name than me, or I gave it to, what I'm saying. Of course, Stove Guys Cook is gonna trump me. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's him. So I like people to come over and sit with me, or I'll pull up on them and sit with them and play them what I have that's open. I don't play them what I done gave to somebody else. So I was like, I'm gonna put out a beat tape since ain't nobody coming to get none of these beats, and they gonna hear what I've been cooking. Like, they sleeping, and now I might not want to work with you. You know what I'm saying? And it ain't no funny stuff, but it's like, I just look at it like, okay, if I'm grinding, and I've been grinding all of these years, and let's say, for instance, we get off of this call, or what is podcast called, and then 2 weeks from now, somebody saw this and they like, hey man, this beat tape is amazing. I want to use one of these beats for a movie, and then I become this huge, film scoring producer. Then now everybody want to work with me, but nobody wanted to work with me when I was in the trenches trying to give away beats for free. So it's like, you didn't want to work with me when I was trying to get my name up and doing it for free. So I know you ain't gonna be able to afford me when I got a ticket now. So I like to work with people with, like, I like to work with people and build relationships and get it out the mud with me. Don't wait until you see that I got one of your favorite rappers on the track, Or don't ask me to do a feature now that I'm on a track with one of your favorite MCs. Or don't ask me to do a song because or get on your podcast because you see that, you know, DJ Premier done had me on the podcast for, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's weird energy when I've been grinding. My work speaks for itself. If you take a chance and really actually listen, you know, even if you don't fuck with me as an artist, like, I'm an amazing person, so you gotta like me to some degree to be like, well, damn, I don't really like the music, but I like her, so, or I don't really like her, but I like the music, so, you know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say that I ain't never put out a dud, but I don't think I ever put out a dud, so I kind of said it. Like, my features speak for itself, and I just wanted my beats to speak for itself. So I wasn't. Again, it's about time for me. I'm not gonna waste my time waiting on people to validate me. So I validated myself by putting out my beat tape. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, y'all want to rap over my shit? Fuck it.
Put it out myself.
I put it out myself. And somebody gonna ride to it, they gonna vibe to it, and whatever, you know. And it ain't gonna be the last one, but you know, I'm extremely proud of myself for the goal that I set, and I executed it. And you know, I said here I had never mixed a song in my life, and I mixed the project by myself, and I wasn't gonna wait on nobody to do it. I had been waiting, you know, for it to get done. I was like, I got a deadline. I'm just gonna go ahead and do it. I'm about to talk to God, guide me. I need my ancestors to guide me. All this creative ancestors I have around me. Okay, boo boo, would not return. Like, I can't wait for nobody else. I can't.
Let them know. Yep.
You know. So yeah. So I was just like, yo, I'm gonna put out this. And so yeah, Sanctuary is like internal sanctuary, my own validation, my own peace, my own. I don't need y'all voices to over my beats to validate that I'm a dope producer. It probably sound better anyway without, you know, those tracks just sound so. I just listen to it and I just be smiling like, man, I'm proud of me. I did it. I did it. I'm proud of me. I don't care. I don't care who claps for me. I'm thankful for those that clap for me, but I don't care. And I think really, honestly, Wiki, is because my biggest cheerleader is in a whole nother realm right now. Mm. She always clapped for me. You know what I'm saying? She always validated me. That was an unconditional love that I'll never get back on this side of the world. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I really don't need nobody else's validation. I already got it from the biggest angel that I knew. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, I'm just going to do it. Whatever I put my mind to, I'm just going to, if I'm able, I'm going to do it, you know? And, yeah, so, especially, and then after coming from out that hospital situation, like, man, my blood pressure was so high, I really could have had a stroke, but just stressing about all the noise in the world and all the, you know, stuff, I was just like, yeah, no, the sanctuary. Yeah. Find your peace, find your, yeah, nah, I can't even, I don't need, because half of the times when we're looking for validation from people, it's not genuine anyway. You know, especially when folks only want to applaud you in silence or in a room that's a small room. You know what I'm saying? The people can't give you applause and clap for you loud and cheer for you and celebrate you in a room with all of the people that they look up to. But then when it's behind closed doors, they want to say how great you are. It's not genuine. You know what I'm saying? I'm not afraid to be a fan of my friends. So I clap for people loud. I cheer for people loud. I cheer for those who don't really care for me loud. If I fuck with you, I'm going to, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm genuine like that. But I was just like, I'm not waiting on nobody to do nothing. I'm dropping this beat tape. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. I'm doing that. All the things. I'm doing it. If 10 people listen to it or 10,000, I'm doing it. I got to. I got to, because when my time is up and people go back and listen to all of these projects that they overlook, you know what I'm saying? At some point in time, I pray as before I'm out of here that I can get my flowers and, and people really recognize the talent that I have beyond just, I don't know. I want my, yeah, I just want I want my bank account to reflect all the things that I've done and all the people I've influenced and all, you know what I'm saying? But nah, real talk.
When people look back at Miz Korona, they're gonna see a vast array of a discography of more than just music.
Thank you. But you know what? I had a conversation. I don't know how much longer we got, but I had a conversation with Sterling while we were filming, and I don't know if he got it on film or not, but I was telling him up until recently, I felt like I was successful because people be like, "Oh, you famous." When they see me, I'm like, "Oh, you famous." And I just be like, "I'm just me." But then I was like, "Yeah, I mean, I'm successful." But he said, "What is your measure of success? How do you measure success?" I like, well, you could measure success in a lot of ways. I am successful for the people that I grew up with who never left this city. I traveled the world. You know, people all over the place know me. I'm not a superstar like, Missy Elliott or none of that, but I am known worldwide, which is a success. That's a huge success
Yes,
for
it is.
somebody
Yes.
from the east side of Detroit that was told by my teachers from elementary to high school that I wasn't gonna be shit, and I probably have achieved more than they have. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I feel like I'm extremely successful. So I'm not taking that for granted. And I just look at it like anytime you can reach beyond your normal circle, that's something that's an achievement. That's a success. So even though I'm over here joking and I'm saying I do what everybody wants their bank account to reflect what they do, you know what I'm saying? But ultimately I've obtained wealth in other ways that's not monetary. And what I'm saying? I don't want to go into that because again I don't know how much time we have, but you know what I'm saying? It's some things that you do in life that you feel so fulfilled and you feel a substantial amount of achievement that nothing that you can get accolade wise or monetarily that's going to even make you feel bigger than that. You know what I'm saying? And so I've done that, and that's all I can answer.
There it is. You've spoken before that your music is driven through emotion. After listening to The Sanctuary several times since it dropped in November, I noticed something that makes me feel it's more than just a beat tape. And that's as each track progresses, there's a transition on it. And the later tracks have a different type of emotion than how it starts out.
Yeah, and it's a reason for that. Again, it's just me really telling a story sonically about how I've been navigating this, this loss and this grief, and just trying to find my sense of peace and my sanctuary within. So the beginning sounds more dramatic and like, how can I explain it? It sounds dramatic and it sounds like um, a whirlwind of confusion, maybe to some
Mm.
folks. And then as you go further into it, it's more calm and smooth, and um, that was the time when it was like, okay, I'm like 3-4 months into this, and then when you get to when you get to the tail end, um, those tracks were created when D'Angelo passed.
Oh, wow.
So it was my way of paying homage to one of my favorite artists and creatives and communicating with him and my mom and all of the people who inspired me that I, was cool with, like Ant Fiddler, Jay Dilla, Proof, my boy Cobb, that I look at, they were inspirations for me musically. So I'm like, communicating with them on that, yeah, higher and higher till it's done. It was just like, honestly, when I did the higher till it's done, that was like me, like trying to say, okay, your job is done. To those angels, those ancestors, like your job is done, and you know, I really cried when I made that beat. When I made that beat, I cried, and it was like, wow. I felt like I could. I felt like I could hear. I felt like saw him and my mom having a conversation. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Like she loved D'Angelo too, but um, like, what you doing here? You know what I'm saying? Type thing. And yeah, so it was just like, take me higher until it's done. Like until this grief, until this pain, like I'm transporting higher to a different realm until this pain is done. And that's how I felt. And so that's how I mean I guess I'm not the best at telling stories non-lyrically. I should have put it in a rap how the album came about, but And speaking of which, I already got the one song where I rap on the beat tape, the introduction. So that was something that I toyed with and fought with as well. So yeah.
And what's a beat tape without a cassette?
What's a beat tape without a cassette? I was like, yo, I'm taking it back. I'm gonna put it out on cassette tape. And sometimes what I figured out too. Sometimes when you have these ideas, you probably shouldn't like tell people the idea until you already executed it, because folks will try to talk you out of it or make you feel a way. But I ain't let nobody deter me from doing. You doing a cassette tape? People don't even got tape players no more. How they gonna hear it? How they gonna listen to it? This, that, and I'm like, you know what?
Trust me, they're out there.
I say it's a collector's item, and some people do have cassette players, and also when you purchase it, you still get a download link.
Mm-hmm.
And the people who haven't received the download link when they purchase the cassette, then I'll email it to them. I was like, but it's a collector's item. It's fun. It's like vinyl came back. At some point in time, cassette is gonna come back, and yeah. So
Definitely.
people want that warm sound. People miss that. I see a lot of producers going back to analog with production, um, just to get that feeling again. It's more, was less AI and computer feel. So they're going back to that. But yeah, I thought it was a brilliant idea. Like for me anyway, I was like, I'm gonna do a tape. This is my first beat tape because it was exciting to me because I used to make mixtapes. You know what I mean? I would sit in front of the radio and hit the play record and record my favorite song on the radio. I caught before Slum Village got popular, I remember sitting in front of the radio for days. They didn't play Detroit hip hop like that here. So
Really?
when I first heard them, they were one of the first Detroit hip hop artists to be played on the radio. And I'm like, oh my God, who is this? What is this? I need to hear this again. So waiting for this day, when they gonna play it again. And I recorded over the B-side of my Bell Biv DeVoe tape. so I could I still remember that. I still have the tape with the tissue paper in there. So, it just, when I made this project, I was like, why call it a beat tape and it's not a tape? I need to put it on tape. I want the whole vibe of it. Like, yo. So when people go back and like, I have this vinyl from Miz Korona, I got this little disc, this thumb drive thing. I actually got a cassette tape, she got t-shirts. Like, I just think it's exciting when you think about artists who you still have the memorabilia from,
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I wish I still had my New Kids on the Block t-shirts and my NWA back in the day t-shirts where I'm like, what is this? I don't want you wearing that, but she still bought it from me. But it's just reminds me of the time when it was good, when it was great, when hip hop was great. Like a tape, you pop it in a tape. You went to New York, you got the Locks mixtape. What? You come back to Detroit with a Locks mixtape? I was the shit in my neighborhood. So that's yeah. Anyway, I'm rambling.
Yeah, you hold a personal connection when you have that physical like that.
Yeah, I mean, and I understand that a lot of people won't get it, and that's fine too. A lot of people didn't get the idea and they didn't grasp the concept of me pressing up vinyl. But those who love and respect it appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm doing it for the culture. Yeah. I'm doing it for the culture. I'm doing it for my appreciation of music, and I like to collect things. I have, vinyl over there. I got, like I said, I still got cassette tape. I don't play them because my cassette player gone out, but they bringing them back. I saw them on Amazon. They even got them with the USB that you can plug in and Bluetooth cassette players and stuff. But hey, whatever. Most people buy stuff they don't never even open it anyway. They just love the artist, and connect with you to the point where you're just like, yo, I want this. I want to have something. When they come to the concerts and they ain't never heard me rap before, like, oh my God, I'm gonna buy a record. I think that's dope.
Yeah.
I don't even have a record player. This is the first record that's amazing to me. So I can imagine how many people might buy a tape. Like, I haven't got a tape player, but I want this. That's dope to me. I'm thankful. I'm thankful for the people who pre-ordered it. I don't even, you know what I'm saying? Even if I just only sell those 19, I'm happy.
Yeah, I made sure to get a copy after I heard it. And like I said before earlier, hopefully one day I get to either see you do a beat set performance or, just, perform your songs.
Well, hopefully soon, because you're in New York, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully soon. I'm working on, I've been working on trying to get out there to do something for the past few years, but, I got a couple homies, my boy DJ Static and my homie Phase One still out there, and so hopefully I'll be able to link up and get some connections and plugs. But Yeah.
All right. So I want you to pick a track to play for the people here off the beat tape.
Oh, pick one. How about we just play the Higher Till It's Done, since that was the one that made me cry
Okay.
when I made it. Yeah. It's the last joint on there. Yeah. And I didn't get to answer the question about the album cover. So the night I decided to make the project, I ran into a friend at an event, and it was a church behind the building that we were in. When I was walking into their car, and I saw the church, took the picture, and I was like, man, it just I kept thinking about it all night. Like, as I played a couple beats, and they were like, man, these beats sound so dope. And I was like, I don't think I'm gonna make a beat tape. This was the day that D'Angelo had transitioned. And so we were talking about that, and that day I had made that the NWTD beat, and that's stands for Now That We're Done, and that's a 112 song that I flipped. But I played it. I was just like, but I kept thinking about, I should make a beat tape. I'm gonna make a beat tape. I just kept saying, it was like a nagging thing. I couldn't even sleep that night because I kept thinking about it. So I was like, I'm gonna make an album cover. I'm gonna use this picture. First I said, well, what am I gonna call it? And I just kept hearing Sanctuary, and I was like, well, I got that church picture. I'm like, I need to turn this into an album cover. And then the album cover came about, and I was just like, this is crazy. Like, everything I felt like everything was just like falling into place to tell me that it was that was a great idea to do, and that week before, and that same week, it was two people who was supposed to come over and pick beats for a project that they were doing, and they never came. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna put out a beat tape, and I ain't waiting on nobody. And you know what I'm saying? And so yeah, so Sanctuary, and you know, you will hear when they listen to it, you hear a lot of. It sounds like it could be in the church, you know, like you got the tambourines, you got the shaker, you know, you got the claps, and the vocals sound very, very, you know, harmonic and churchy. And yeah, it just felt like it was saying, like, you know, creating again that sense of peace. And yeah, that's it. That's it.
That's it.
Yeah, this is my first interview about this project. This is
Oh.
my first interview. This is my first interview since shit. Yeah, since my mom passed. Yeah, so I haven't really been. It's my first. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Making me feel special.
No, I mean you are special. You know, and yeah, I'm thankful that you got me on. Cause listen, it's past my pajama time. It's past my pajama. I'm fully dressed with a skull cap on at midnight. I was just, you are special, and you got on the whole time. I feel underdressed, but you know, I'm happy to be here. We look good, and
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
thankful. I'm thankful for whoever watched, and you know, thank y'all for tuning in if you did watch. And
Definitely. Definitely.
yeah.
I have one more question, and then
Okay.
one song that I want you to talk about. So let's go with the question first.
Okay.
For any other aspiring artist, producer, whatever they're talented at, you
Just
have.
do it. Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, that's all right.
No. Finish the question. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, because you not only displayed those, but you also have companies as well. So, what would be your words of advice?
Again, my words of advice is just do it. You know, don't let anybody tell you or talk you out of your dream. You know, you might run into detours, but don't stop your dream. I feel like when you have a vision, of course, it's your vision. You know what I'm saying? Can't nobody see what you see, especially when it's pertaining to a dream that if they've never attained theirs, they can't see you being successful at anything that you put in your mind to do. But make sure, yeah, have your businesses together. You know, I didn't always have mine together. You know, and luckily I have amazing people in my life. My tax proprietor is she's like family now. She got on my head. You know, get your businesses in order. You know, you got too many entities, and you should be monetizing off of these. And stop being so friendly when you getting underpaid by these people. And you know, I won't say jump off the porch thinking you're supposed to make $50,000 for a show because you feel like that's what you're worth, but don't settle for somebody not wanting to compensate you or even offer. You know what I'm saying? I tell people all the time, you know, I'm extremely nice, and when I have relationships with people, I will do stuff pro bono, but at least offer and give me the opportunity to turn it down. You know what I mean? Don't just be like, oh, I got 10 drink tickets for you. First of all, you want me to come perform, get wasted, and then drive off? Like, that's crazy and irresponsible. But I don't even drink, so those 10 drink tickets, if it's $15 a drink, you could put that in my pocket. You know. But yeah, like, handle your business, you know, the best way that you know how. And if you don't know how to do it, then get in a room with somebody that can teach you how to get your business done more accurately. And as long as you're a student, you'll never be the dumbest one in the room. So, and that means don't ever feel like you too big or too smart to learn something new.
It is. The next thing I wanted to talk about real quick is you just work with, yet again, another talented woman, multi-talented, and that is Ty Phoenix with the Built Different song.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, my sis hit me up. And was like, yo, I got this amazing joint that I think that you would be perfect on. And Ty and I are alike in a lot of ways, like, spiritual beings connected, to the higher power in our own ways. And it was like, yo, I had a conversation with the creator about who I should get on this record. And I was like very intentional about wanting somebody on this record that's gonna, you know what I'm saying, like be dope and just with a dope spirit and everything. Like, and God said me, and I was honored. I was like, me? I was like, okay. And at that time, I was over here mixing Sanctuary. So I was over here like, I'm teaching myself how to mix as I go. So I was like 4 days into mixing, and my ears, I felt burnt out. So I was taking a break. And she called me at the time I was taking a break, and I was like, yeah, I just literally stepped away from the computer to give my ears a break, for a couple hours so I can get back to mixing this. So she sent me the beat. She's like, this the deadline. Like, it was like a 2-week deadline. And I sent her the verse back in like an hour. And she was like, wow, like that was fast. I said, well, I was sitting here taking a break and you sent me the beat and it was fire and I felt inspired and I just wrote the verse and then I recorded it. And that is the beauty of having your own home studio. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like me being able to sit here at this console and record whenever I feel like it. I wasn't always able to do that until a couple years ago. I had to wait for somebody to get me in there. Do you have the time open? Can you, I need to, you know what I'm saying? And now I'm like, I could sit here and if somebody called me right now, like, hey, I heard your beat tape. I need a track that sound like XYZ. Can you do it? I'm going to sit here and try to make it. Either they don't like it or they not. But I have the opportunity and the option to do it at any given moment. When I wake up, if I work until I fall asleep here, which during the mixing process I almost did a couple times, but that song is so brilliant. And when she wrote the hook and she sent the hook back and I heard it, I had already sent my verse when she was working on the hook. And then when she sent the verse back, I was just like, wow. I mean, look at everything that we survived. Can't lose when you got the Most High on your side. Built different. It just really echoed a lot of the things that I had been going through as an artist, as a creative, as a, just an individual period. And I felt like our stories kind of are similar in a lot of ways. And we've known each other for a long time. We met in 2010 at South by Southwest in person.
Okay.
But knew about each other, a few years before that. And we just now work with each other after knowing one another for all of those years. But I'm a firm believer in timing.
Yes.
And time again, you know what I'm saying? You hear me talk about time, you hear me talk about so I feel like it was perfect right now. And also, unfortunately, Ty is another person that I've known for a vast amount of time and had never had the knowledge that unfortunately she lost her mom too. So we share that heaviness. And so it's just like, I'm praying for you. I'm here for you. You need anybody, and I really, really appreciated that. You know, I appreciated that. I believe more than she even knows. You know, because our mamas probably met each other on the other realm. Like, girl, my daughter rap. Girl, my daughter rap. Who is your daughter? I wonder if your daughter know my daughter. And at the same time, she having this conversation with the with the universe and the creator.
Yep.
Like, I need to, and it's like, boom, here we go on this record that I feel like is my feature of the year. I feel like it's one of the best verses that I created this year. Yeah. Feature wise, I feel like it's the best. I feel it is by far the best feature I've done all year. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
There was
Built different.
trying to remember. There was a part there. It's not going to come to me right now, and when I do, we're going to be done. I'm gonna listen to the track again.
Yeah.
For anyone that has been tuning in, I've been dropping the links for all this dope music that Miz Korona is featured on, her Bandcamp, all the projects. So definitely go out there, listen, support, share, and definitely listen to her debut beat tape, Sanctuary.
Yeah.
Miz Korona, thank you so
Productions.
much.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate you. This was a beautiful conversation. You know what I'm saying? It was a tough week last week. It's Monday. It's the new month. And I feel like this is a sign that it's going to be a beautiful ending to a very tough year. So thank you for having me, and hopefully everybody who tuned in enjoyed the interview and the music, and y'all will see me on here again soon, hopefully.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, have a good one.
All right, you too. On behalf of our HHDG Media crew, we're going to say peace.
Peace.